What is going on, guys? I hope you guys are doing well. And it finally happened. After 50 years, the Milwaukee Bucks have won the NBA championship. Giannis Antetokounmpo finally wins his first NBA championship, basically cementing himself as a first ballot Hall of Famer because the resume that he has at the age of 26 is something ridiculous. And I'll get into it later, but before I go any further, I would like to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel and also turn on your notifications so that you don't miss an upload, especially going into this off season, because it's very unpredictable and anything can happen. So, I would like to, appreciate your support. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Okay, now that I got that out of the way, the Bucks did it. I mean, they finally won it all on their home court, which I love. I love seeing the teams win the championship on their home court. It just makes the championship feel more real when a team wins it at home because the crowd's there, the city's lit up, they're going crazy. Especially this year after, last year and it was in a bubble. It was cool seeing people genuinely excited and having it in an arena this year and having 65,000 people outside the arena, which is, honestly, I cringed looking at it because I'm still in the mindset of, hey man, we're still in a pandemic. So seeing that many people crowded together, it makes me cringe. But hey, times are different now. We're at a different place now than we were last year. So in a way, it's cool seeing people celebrate the way they did. So, I mean, yeah. And shit, if the Bulls won, I'd do the same thing, to be honest. So, yeah, the Bucks did it. Finally won a championship. They've came really close a few times. They made the conference finals in 2019. They were up 2-0, but then, they lost 4 straight to Toronto. Kawhi Leonard took care of business. Then last year, it was very disappointing in the bubble. The Miami Heat took care of them in 5 games. And there were a lot of questions going into the season, right? Should Giannis even consider signing an extension? Should he want to leave? He was supposed to be a free agent this year. Should Coach Budenholzer be fired, which I was a strong supporter of? What else could the Bucks do to get more talent around Giannis so that there can actually be a better team? And they actually credited this front office, man. They did the work. They didn't get rid of Budenholzer, which I thought they should have, but they surrounded him with enough talent. They got PJ Tucker in the trade deadline. They signed Drew Holiday. They tried to get Bogdanovich, but that was a complete mess. But they got talent around that made this team better, and everyone knew that, okay, the Bucks are going to be better this year because they looked like a more well-rounded roster that could potentially do more damage in the playoffs. And I mean, think about this playoff run. That's exactly what they did. I mean, also, not to mention, Giannis, signed that massive contract, basically saying, yeah, I want to be in Milwaukee. I don't want to be anywhere else. I want to win it here. And big credit to him because he could have left. He could have gone to LA. He could have gone to New York. He could have gone to Miami. He could have gone all these places. I was thinking he could have gone to Dallas with Luka, but, he said he wanted to stay in Milwaukee and he wanted to win it in Milwaukee, and he did. He lived up to the promise that he made to the fans. So I love that. That's the stuff that I love it. I love that shit. So this run has been incredible for them. They took care in the first round. Who did they play in the first round? The Heat. And they swept them easily. So that was, no business. Then the Bucks. The Nets, sorry. That was an incredible series. It was a Kevin Durant toe away from being the Nets winning that series, but the Bucks took care of business in that game 7. Then they go to Atlanta, take care of business there, and then they finish off the Phoenix Suns. So this was a really impressive run for them. And Giannis, obviously, an all-time playoff run, and especially that last game, 50 points in a closeout game. That's the most ever in a closeout game. The stuff he did in that game was just wild. Like how easily he was getting to the basket, how dominant he was, how easily he was able to go after DeAndre Ayton. How easily he was able to pick apart the defense. And also credit, maybe not in the specific game of Game 6, but in other games, Holiday was doing his thing. Middleton was doing his thing. Bobby Portis, man, I just want to shout out Bobby Portis because I've been a big fan of his because, he obviously started off his career on the Bulls, and I was a big fan of him from the jump, and I was so bummed when he got traded, but he found his place, man. He's gone through a lot, too, personally, so to see him play significant minutes in big moments and for him to show up in those moments and then finally win a championship, it's so hard to get not to root for that guy, man. He's so dope, and he's also like just hilarious too. So I mean, I'm happy for Bobby Portis, man. I'm so happy for him. This has just been a interesting experience watching this Bucks team do what they did, and honestly, this finals as a whole, it's a really fun series. It really was. I don't think I've had this much fun watching a final series in like 5 years since that Cavs Warrior series where it was a 3-1 lead and LeBron came back, because honestly that series in itself wasn't even that great. All 7 games weren't great. It was just game 6 and game 7 that were really the best games. But if you want to talk about a series as a whole, honestly this series was up there, man. It was a great series. I'm so glad that it went the way it did. Of course, injuries were such a big part of the season, but of course we ended up with the matchup that we did, and it ended up being some great basketball, and that's all you can ask for. So, big markets be damned. I had a lot of fun watching this series. Man, for Giannis to win this series and to win a championship finally, to be a Finals MVP, I mean, I can't even think off the top of my head like what he's accomplished in this league. He's already a multiple-time All-Star, I think 5, an All-Star Game MVP, multiple times he's All-NBA, multiple times All-Defense. He was an All-Rookie guy. He was a Most Improved Player, a 2-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, now an NBA champion and a Finals MVP. Like, that's an amazing resume for someone to have at the end of their career. It's year 8 for Giannis, and he's 26 years old. That's scary, man. He has so much left. And, who knows what the rest of his career is going to look like, but however it ends up, this championship alone does so much for him and his legacy and his status among, those all-time greats, It's too early to say now where he is, because I don't feel right comparing people to the all-time list when they're still playing and they have so much time left. Like with LeBron, it's different, but with Giannis, he's only 26. He has, who knows, another 10 years in this league, hopefully. Like, who knows what he's going to accomplish? He's going to be more All-NBA. He's going to be in the All-Star games more. He's going to, be an MVP, who knows, maybe another time or two. There's so much more left for Giannis, and for him to already be where he is right now at 26 and to have so much more left, he's already an all-time great, and everyone knew it. So it's just amazing to watch him go approach the game the way he does. I mean, you heard that interview where he talked about the past, the present, and the current. Like, that's amazing. The past, the present, and the future. Like, that interview was wild. And he came up with that shit on the top of the head, and it was the most intellectual thing I've heard from an athlete. No bullshit. Like, he was talking about how the prize is, the past, it's my ego, or sorry, the present is my humility, the future is my ego, all that stuff. Like, that's so amazing to hear him talk about the game and talk about how he approaches the moment, how he embraces it, how he talks about how grateful he is. He's so humble. And you can tell when he plays and how he is in interviews. He just loves the game. He doesn't love all the flashy stuff that happens. I'm sure it's nice. It's generational wealth. He's able to take care of a family that has gone through a lot of struggles, like he's talked about, He talked about it last night in those press conferences, He was selling CDs and DVDs on the street with his brothers. His mom was working on the street selling stuff. His dad passed away a few years ago. That's an incredible amount of grief that he had to deal with as a family. And for him to be at this point, it's an incredible story, It's a story that has a lot of dark parts of it, but it's still inspiring nonetheless, right? I mean, it's incredible just watching how he talks about the game and just how incredible of a person he is. So I think everyone could agree when he won that trophy, when he won this championship, even if you weren't rooting for the Bucks specifically, it's hard not to root against Giannis, man. It's so hard not to. He's such a humble guy. He's such an awesome person. He's hilarious too. I mean, did you see this morning? I mean, actually, to be honest, this whole, in general, he's just a funny guy. Like, he made that joke in the last game in the press conference because he left during the game, and people asked him what happened. He's like, I had to take a tinkle. Like, he's just funny. Like, unironically. I don't think he's trying to be funny, but he just is. This morning, he was on Instagram Live, going to Chick-fil-A, getting 50 nuggets, and, messing around with the ordering lady, and then, chanting with the fans. Like, he's just a regular guy, and he's just, like, embracing this championship. And you can tell that he is, like, in shock in a weird way of how he won this championship. But it's just been cool to watch him approach this whole thing. And I've talked about Giannis most of this video because obviously he's the star, but still, it's incredible to just watch him do what he did. I mean, who knows what this means for the Bucks next season? I think it's too early to talk about it. It's been 24 hours, but Chris Middleton has a cool story because, he was a G League guy, worked his way up, got to the Bucks, became an all-star, and now he's a champion. Jrue Holiday, a guy who everyone knew had a lot of talent, is now an NBA champion. PJ Tucker, who was so close to doing it with the Rockets, finally got it done in Milwaukee. Who else? Dante DiVincenzo, who couldn't play because he had an injury. He's a champion. Brook Lopez is a champion. Like, it's just an incredible story with a lot of these players. So it's been cool to watch. It's been so cool to watch. And that's what I love so much about this game, because there's so many cool stories about, these players and the road they take to get to where they are. And obviously winning a championship, how much it means to these guys. It's so dope. It's so dope. It's part of what makes, basketball and, I mean, sports in general just so amazing. So, I mean, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, I've gone on a long time. I barely talked about the game specifically. I barely talked about hoops, but I didn't really want to because there's not much to say, Giannis had an incredible all-time performance, and the Bucks got the job done. This has been an incredible season. I mean, it's been not easy. I said the season should have been canceled because of COVID, but we're here now. They went through the season. These playoffs have been amazing. Like, just in general, we've had so many incredible moments. Now we just wait for next season. I mean, hey, the good news is there's still a lot of basketball to talk about. The draft is next week. We don't even know what's going to happen because apparently there's some trade ups and trade downs, and there's going to be some unexpected things, so we'll see what happens. Free agency is in a couple of weeks. Who knows what's going to happen? NBA free agency is super unpredictable, so we have no idea what's going to happen in those couple of weeks. We have the Olympics that are going to start this week, apparently, despite there being a really bad problem with the COVID, but we'll see what happens. It's always cool to watch Team USA ball out. What else? The Summer League is back this year. That's always a lot of fun. I can imagine going to Vegas, how much fun that would be. But even if you're not, it's still exciting basketball because it's just so many young guys just balling out and having a good time in Vegas. So that's always a lot of fun. So, the good thing is we don't have to wait too long to actually watch some basketball, even if it's not, NBA basketball. There's a lot to look forward to, and that's what makes this the NBA so special. So that's all so cool. And then now the cool thing is that I can actually enjoy football season and enjoy my guy Justin Fields take the field. I had to mention it. I'm sorry. All right, that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you think about this incredible Bucks run, what this means for those guys on the team, and what do you think about this team repeating next year maybe. Let me know in the comments what you think. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and also turn on your notifications so that you don't miss an upload. And yeah, thank you guys as always for your continued support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.